G'day guys, righto. Today we're going to have a little bit of a chat about how you get an apprenticeship. Now we've spoken about what an apprenticeship is all about in part one. Part two, we spoke about types of apprenticeships and what might be right for you and what sort of things you might want to do. If you made those decisions and got a bit of an idea on things, now it's time to try and actually put that into action. And how do you do that? So it is a bit of a process. There is a couple of ways you can go about it. I'm going to throw these ways to you. I've got a few of them there for you. And I've got one little interesting one that's a bit out of the box. And yeah, it might even help you out one day in a particular situation, and it might actually work. So you never know. So yeah, I'll share that one to you towards the end as well. So righto guys, I'm going to get stuck into trying to level this floor. And yeah, we'll have a bit of a yarn as we go, mate. To get an apprenticeship, there's a couple of different ways you can head about it. You can go about it. Word of warning, personally, I genuinely feel that if you were to go to a website like Seek or something along those lines, you're probably almost wasting your time a little bit. The reason I say that is because there's a lot of traffic that goes to those sites. So the potential for people to apply for a job is very easy, and people get swamped, businesses get swamped with applicants, and they need to sort through all the applicants, and they can sift out the crap from the good stuff, and there's always a high probability that you'd get missed. Okay, my wife works in HR, so yeah, definitely hear about this all the time. So just be mindful of that. Like, as much as I'm not saying don't apply through Seek, I'm saying that there is a very high potential that if you aren't really on the game with your resume and your letter of application and all that sort of stuff, then you'll get lost in the numbers for Seek, okay, if that kind of makes sense. I used Seek as a tool to find places that were looking for apprenticeships, and have had ads up in the past as well as that for apprenticeships too, so you can sort of get a suss of like who would take on apprentices, basically, because that's the kicker. That's what you've got to find. You've got to find the companies that are going to take on an apprentice, because there's no point in going to a building contractor who subbies everything out and they don't have any apprentices at all. There's no point. So you kind of lose out on putting all your effort towards that application. It kind of makes sense. So you want to find the guys that are definitely going to put applicants on or put on apprentices and give you half a crack. So gone are the days where you normally really read, well, sometimes you find them in newspapers, but it's very rare that an application for a job is in a newspaper in regards to apprenticeships and stuff. But keep an eye out in the newspapers. That's another thing to keep an eye out for them. But yeah, I think genuinely I do feel that for an apprenticeship, and if you're genuinely keen on it and you know what you want to do and you know where you want to work, you know what direction you want to head, get yourself together a good quality resume. All right, if you need to get professional help with that, get professional help. Most of your employment agencies will help you out with that too. So get a good resume, get yourself a cover letter, explain yourself in the cover letter, give yourself some history, talk about the passion that you might have for that job and why you have that passion and stuff, and be direct with people. Like, you need to try and paint a picture of yourself to your potential employer. Like, that's what you're trying to do. That'll work for any job as well. So now you've got yourself a resume, you've got yourself a good cover letter, all right, and you've consolidated that. So you can head down a couple of roads here, all right? Like I said, you can do the Seek thing, but try and avoid it. I think that's going to be a little bit of a waste of time, but you can give it a crack if you want. You never know, you might stand out in the crowd. So, like I said before, find those guys that put on apprentices. Find where the email inquiries are. You jump on their websites, you will find an inquiry form about that sort of thing. So put together some information in there, apply to them, at least get in touch, make contact, either via email or by phone call. But trust me, if you do it via email, always follow up with a phone call. I think that hunger, that desire, that moment that you actually send through your resume and your application and follow up with a phone call to say, hey, have you received it? Just checking. If you haven't, please let me know. And often what will happen, especially I found with myself when I was applying for it, is that people start a conversation with you and say, oh mate, we've just put 2 guys on. You've kind of just missed out, but we'll keep you on file and we'll see how it goes. Little things like that can start up a conversation, and who knows where it could lead. It could be like, oh, have you tried such and such? Have you tried these guys? These guys are looking for apprentices at the moment. You know, that's the sort of thing that you kind of open up to when you either do a follow-up phone call and stuff after sending me through an email with a resume on it or anything, or even a follow-up phone call, even after you drop off your resume directly to site. So that's another little thing you can do. You can actually go to these businesses. A lot of these businesses, like say a building company or electrician company or something like that, a lot of these slightly bigger ones and stuff, and even smaller ones too, they actually have a branch, they have a location, they have a workshop, that sort of thing. Rock up there with your resume and say, oh, I'd just like to put my name forward for an apprenticeship and that sort of stuff. Understanding that you may not get an apprenticeship off the bat. So keep this in mind. Keep an open mind about this. Put your name down as a TA or labourer as well, okay? Those 2 little positions, okay, can potentially open the door for you. It's a good way for you to have a bit of a trial and see what the company's like to work for as well before you commit to an apprenticeship, okay? And the other thing too, it gives you a little bit of a boost in your wage too, because as an apprentice, the wage isn't amazing. It really isn't. You kind of struggle with that a little bit, but that's something we'll talk about in the next little installment. We'll talk about money and we'll talk about how we can get through that and bypass that. But yes, head down the road of a labourer or a TA, something along those lines, and see if you can get a foot in the door in a company. And obviously with that, and be honest with them too. Tell them, said, look, I really want to try and look at getting an apprenticeship in an electrician here, or I'd like to become a plumber apprentice, that sort of stuff. So the great little idea that I have, now I don't know what you guys' thoughts are of it, and I'm open to your feedback and opinions. It's probably a bit of a silly idea, but it's out of the box, which is what we want. Because sometimes that's what you need to do to get an apprenticeship, especially if you're a bit older. You just gotta have a crack at it. So, I've made some shirts up. I have a little merch store that I've just started. It's literally just come online as I've basically pretty much editing and putting this video together. So you should see the links at the bottom of the video in the YouTube side of things, where you can see the shirts and stuff that you can order. Now I have created midlife carpentry shirts, so similar to the ones that I've got, that I've been wearing and stuff here and there. So black shirts. I've got the QR code and the Build On Legends sitting on the shirt, so you can scan the QR code, takes you straight to the channel as well, so if you see anyone who wants to wonder about it. And then on the back of these shirts, I've got Midlife Carpentry one, which is cool. That's all like a, you know, if you're a keen fan of the old channel, you can buy that one. But the shirts that I have, I've got a selection where I've actually requested, I've got a question on there. So I've basically said, I want to be a carpentry apprentice. Can you help? I want to be a tiling apprentice. Can you help? I want to be an apprentice electrician. Can you help? Little things like that on these shirts. Now you can see them there in the pictures and stuff. But that's the idea and the concept that I have behind them, that you can wear that shirt out. It's actually not a bad shirt. They're quite comfortable. Give them a couple of washes and they're mint. And wear them out. Go out to a family barbecue while you wear the shirt. Go to the bottle-o, go to the pub, go to fucking whatever while you're wearing that shirt. Because you never fucking know the opportunity that could be thrown at you just by simply having something there. You're being a bit out there to a degree. People are going to ask questions. You never know what's going to come out of it, because you might get an apprenticeship the first time you wear that shirt. You might get off an apprenticeship and bang, you're in the door and it's on. So you just don't know. And yeah, look, there's still a pretty good shirt to go and wear around the house and stuff like that while you do painting and tidying things up anyway. So if you only wear it once, you get an apprenticeship straight away, fucking awesome. And you probably never have to wear it again, but you get the idea. You get where I'm going with that, guys. Next one, we're going to talk about money. You know, that's a big one. I do have a tool that might be to help out there. I do have a big budgeting spreadsheet I want to share with you guys. And see if I can find a link or some way to actually have it on there so you guys can just grab a hold of it and help you budget and plan for this step of your life. So, but yes, guys, all right, that'll do me for today. Hopefully that's helped you out. Obviously, if you have any questions, please throw them in the comments, get in touch. I'm on Instagram as well. I got back at TikTok too. So if you want to have a chat or send me a message or something, shoot it through. Happy to chat with you and give you some ideas and stuff like that if you need them. But yeah, if you follow those simple rules, get your resume sorted, get your letter of application sorted, and follow up. That's the big one. Always follow up on what you've sent out, because that show of initiative, of that desire, that sort of that lust for the job might get you over the line. So yeah, keep that in mind. All right, guys. Build on, legends. I'm going to keep chipping along here. I got a little bit more to muck around with. Don't know how much I'll get done today, but hey, you know, it is what it is. And we'll talk again soon, eh? All right. Build on, legends. See ya.